So yeah, if you look between the robot mode and the vehicle mode, you could probably tell pretty easily exactly what you would have had to do to transform him, because those microbots were very simple and easy to transform in about 1.5 seconds. So and Huffer's most identifying characteristic to me, besides his color scheme, I always thought the orange and the purple with the silver smokestack arms was very identifiable. But the way the cab of his truck kind of always framed his head at the top, and kind of he had a really top heavy kind of head. That was always, besides his color scheme, his most identifiable characteristic to me. And it looks like the Bad Cube version here, you can see they've kept that pretty consistent. That stays up over top of his head and stuff. So, but anyways, this is going to be awesome. I've been waiting to try and get a hold of him for quite some time, but he always seemed pretty elusive to find. But I finally got him on AliExpress recently, and he showed up, and here he is. So let's get him out of the box, and we'll see what the new and improved toy of Huffer looks like. Let's do it. Let's get him open. And Bad Cube didn't go too far off the mark with his name, just calling him simply Huff instead of Huffer. Who knows what he's huffing? Wouldn't be gas, because they probably can run on gas. Converted to Energon. Oh, vehicle mode, that's what I like to see. He's actually bigger than I thought he would be. Okay, as per the standard protocol, we have an instruction booklet. And as is the case with Bad Cube, they usually give you 2 different character cards. One's a little, I don't know, they're about the same thickness. This one seems a little more flimsy, the other one. But it's kind of cool. You get 2 different looks on Huffer with the character cards. And in terms of accoutrements, it looks like he's got some sort of tool here for welding or something, probably. He is an engineer after all. He's got his blaster, and then he's got a spare face. And this one is like him being like in distress. So, like, he's like, oh! So that might be, excuse me, the one that I have to put on, because, that's classic Huffer, right? Yeah, so here he is. Like I said, he's a little bigger than I thought. Side view mirrors look like they pop in and out of there. You can see his fists at the top of the smokestacks inside, right? So, yeah, that's a pretty good looking toy. Bigger than I thought. Good coloring. Looks just like Huffer, should. So, there he is. We'll get him transformed in some time-lapse action. I'm thinking this isn't going to take very long. So we'll see what he looks like in robot mode, and then we'll go from there. Hooey doggy, look at this guy. This is fantastic. This looks exactly like Huffer should look. The color scheme, the look of the truck, especially the look of him in robot mode, I think just is him to a T. This is for a small character, this was really well executed, and the transformation process was simple as pie. And Bad Cube, like I noticed with Gears, there wasn't really much metal, but this guy's got a lot of metal in his legs, his feet, up here in his body and stuff. So he's a really quality character. I'm glad I think there were a couple different Huffers available. X-Transbots had one that looked really cool, but all really expensive. This was easily the best deal for Bad Cube, and I'm glad I took that option, because everything about this is fantastic. He's just amazing. And yeah, a couple of really unique transformation elements of it. The cab, when it came up into the back, like the top of it kind of comes up and then sinks into the bottom of it. I really like how that kind of compacted in there, and the wheels tucked in inside of it and stuff. It was really neat. And then the way the wheels tucked into his legs too, the kind of scheme that they were on was really neat. So this is all around. I mean, for a small character like this, I'm really impressed with this guy, and I've had 4 Bad Cube characters so far. Huffer, Gears, Warpath the tank, and then the 3 Insecticons. So really I've had like 6, but the Insecticons I kind of count as 1. And so far I've been really impressed with them all. They've all looked really good, but I think Warpath is pretty cool, but Huffer might arguably be my favorite of the Bad Cube characters so far, just because everything about him just screams Huffer to me. And Huffer was actually kind of one of my favorite characters when I was a kid. I really liked... I was always a big fan of trucks, big rigs especially, and just Optimus Prime and Huffer and Motormaster. Like, a lot of my favorite characters, like if I saw a big rig truck, it's like, oh, I love that guy automatically, right? Even though he was a snivelly little whiner most of the time, I still loved him to death. So really glad I got the Huffer. And you'll notice the lighting at the end of this video is a lot nicer than at the start, because the sun just magically came out as I'm finishing this video. So I may have to go out, even though it's still a bit chilly, it's still early spring, and have myself a beer after this video. So next week is coming the guy that I said was gonna be this week. Nobody's gonna come in that's gonna change that order. So next week, we got a really cool character coming, and the start of a new different toy line that I haven't had any characters within yet, at least as far as I know. Oh, actually, I have had one from this kind of toy line. Not this exact toy line, but the same company. So, but this is kind of a newer kind of toy line that I've had to get these characters with, just because of pricing and that sort of thing. But it's still going to be awesome. It's amazing. So next week, I'll leave you with a bit of a cliffhanger like that. I'm not going to tell you anything about the character, because you'll probably be able to guess him. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. And we'll see you in a week.